Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Behind the Arch podcast.
Hello, I'm your host, Gabriel Abdurab, and we have two special guests here today, Ms. Boone and Ms. Stewart. How are you guys today today?
We're doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I say let's get right into the questions. The first one, what is your responsibility here at Archimedes, the role at Archimedes Academy?
So I am Miss Stewart. I am the 11th and 12th grade school counselor, and my role and responsibilities are to make sure that students are doing well academically, social, emotionally, and college and career ready.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Ms. Boone. I am the community coordinator here at Archimedes Academy, and what I do is coordinate all of the attendance-related activities, such as Solar Fridays for middle school students, any cohort attendance challenges, just in ways to boost the attendance here at the school, and also a slew of other things in between because I'm a team player.
If you were allowed to make a mandatory change in your role, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, for me personally, I'm a 12-month employee, so that means I work all throughout the summer, all throughout the school year. So I would love to be off in the summer times like teachers do. I think that would definitely be a mandatory change for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, I would just have like a second me. That's it. If I had somebody, second me.
Okay, can we just copy you?
Copy.
Copy and paste.
How do I balance my responsibilities with my passion?
How do I balance my responsibilities with my passion? Well, fortunately for me, I am passionate about this, so it makes balancing my responsibilities easier. So the other thing, too, is to self-care. I would say self-care is the other really big thing to make sure that my passions aren't burning me out or inhibiting my ability to perform my responsibilities. So I do things that I enjoy.
I would definitely piggyback off of that. Self-care is super important, especially working with students of all ages, all day, every day, pretty much. Luckily, before this position, I was a SAPIS counselor like Mr. Diaz, and it helped me form a lot of relationships with students, and my passion is counseling. So it helped me get more into the counseling role and speaking with students and when it comes to mental health and other issues that they may be suffering from. So that is the way that I kind of balance it within this role because I still have those relationships with students, so I'm able to kind of maneuver my time so I can still keep up with that rapport.
Mm-hmm. How do we teach responsibility to the next upcoming generation?
So how do we teach responsibility? How we teach the young people to be more responsible is to provide them with opportunities to be responsible. So for instance, I have a college trip coming up. I give a specific deadline of tomorrow, I guess. Not accepting permission slips after tomorrow holds the student accountable and teaches them responsibility. If you don't do X, whether you're action or inaction, there's going to be a result for your actions. So, yeah.
I think responsibility it's taught, but also you have to see it, right? Like for me, if I'm growing up, I see a lot of women in my family just doing what they need to do. And so I feel like an adult needs to be present to kind of display that. Because if I have no idea how to be responsible or take action or advocate for myself because I need to, I feel like students and children these days, they need to see it. It has to be physical, you know what I mean? And then they're able to be like, okay, this person did this, X, Y, and Z, and now I know how to do it. So I think it's a twofold. It definitely needs to be taught, but it also needs to be on the forefront. Somebody needs to show that to them so they can see it.
Modeling for sure.
Yeah, exactly, modeling.
How do we maintain responsibility in the face of uncertainty?
That's interesting. I think even though, we're in America, things are uncertain all the time, you still have to abide by, jobs, certain roles, timing. I don't think that shouldn't change, right? We should continue to be responsible at any given time, no matter what comes tomorrow or next week or whatever the case may be. That I don't think that's something that should be questioned or how we maintain it. I think it should just always be. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I completely agree with her. Maintaining, it's really about perseverance. So even though things can be uncertain, persevering through to get to your roles and responsibilities, still making sure that those things get done.
Besides school wise, what is your responsibilities outside of school?
Just being a human.
Just
I'm responsible for a child. You know, that's a lot. That is a lot.
Yes, being a mom is a huge responsibility.
It's a lot. But being a person is
Being
a lot.
person, it's
A
true.
lot.
And being a good person, a kind person.
Yeah. I think it's real easy to just be like a crappy person.
Right.
Sadly, crappy people get a lot of things like handed to them in a weird way. I don't know how the universe works, but yeah, it's What about you?
Responsibility here at Archimedes for me, I'd say, is just doing the best I can, being a best student. Because at first, I didn't take everything serious. I wasn't that responsible. Then I realized this is my future. This is my career. I have to do the best that I could.
It's awesome.
What made you care though, as a student?
What
Like,
made me care is seeing all the people around me becoming better and successful and the best person they could be, and I'm getting left behind, and I don't want to be left behind. Like, I want to be there with them. I want to be able to provide for my loved family and like friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What source of motivation could you provide to your classmates about being more responsible?
Motivation that I can hope to provide is just like, don't try to do it all by yourself. If you need help, ask. Don't be scared to ask for help, to request anything. And you have people around you that love you and care for you. Your teachers, your counselors, everything. They may be busy but all of this they're doing for you, even family.
that definitely ties into responsibility because, as Mr. has mentioned, deadlines are coming up. There's things that need to be taken care of in a timely manner, and I think a lot of times students fall to the wayside because they are afraid to speak up for themselves and advocate for themselves, but they need to realize, like, you're the person that needs to get these grades, right? You need to pass. You need to get the education because we've done that already. So I think that a lot of students, some students, they get a little fearful when speaking up for themselves and speaking to an adult. But the teachers are here, the counselors are here. Like you mentioned, everybody's here for them. We're all in your corner. It's just you have to realize, like, we're not against you. You know what I mean?
And it's also like it's a lack of motivation that what scares most people, I'd say. They don't have that like thing to push them. They don't really have anyone in their family or friends to like really, push them to that point.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah, that is true. Because sometimes you have to be that person for yourself,
Yes.
which is hard. So
Yeah.
Okay. So, as counselors, do you guys feel you're able to help everybody in your role?
I would say definitely not.
No.
No, I wish we
We could.
we could,
We try our best
of course.
to reach everyone, but realistically speaking, we are also just one person. So we do the best we can with what we have, and ideally, we put things in place that cover all students, and then like tier systems to address like more severe cases if there are. But we are one person.
And then it comes to a point where individuals are not willing to meet you halfway. So you could do all the work and say, like, here, I'm going to help you. Everything's laid out on the table. If that motivation is not there, then there's only so much we can do.
Correct.
So you have to meet people halfway, and it's like, okay, you did your part, I'm going to do mine. And then we'll see how that goes. But it's not for everybody. Can't come up and get to the table and say, I need to do this, and realize, like, okay, this is my responsibilities, and own up to it. It takes a lot. So
Another thing, at one point in your life, when did you realize this is more serious and you have to take responsibility?
that's a good one. I think in my 20s, I realized, like, after college, it was like, okay, this is you're actually a real adult. Like, even after 18, is like, I think there's like a little bit of a leeway.
Yep.
Even though some people, it can be different for everybody, but for me personally, I think, like, after I got my master's, I was like, okay, now I really have to play a role in being the best person I want to be for me, and whatever that looks like, and doing whatever I possibly need to do, like get a job and save money and do my taxes correctly, do all these things. And it's like, okay, I'm an adult. I'm an adult now, so I have to do adult things.
Yeah. And I completely agree with Miss Boone. I would say like my mid 20s is when I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely real life. It's time to get serious. It's time to start saving. It's time to build a career. I had my time to, enjoy myself while I was in college, but now it's time to get serious and really start to plan my future.
So you both would have to agree with the fact that we don't have to get it out right out the gate, because I think there's some parents that kind of like enforce, listen, you got to do this right out the gate, you got to do it right away. But then I could speak for myself. I didn't find my career until a little bit later on in life. You know what I mean? Everything that I initially wanted to do is completely opposite of what I'm doing now, right? So I think that's one of the things that kids, when they hear counseling and when they hear what you got to do, like responsibilities and all that, there's a big misconception of what it is. So I just want to kind of like touch on that, because I know you guys spoke about what your roles are, what you do, but I kind of think nobody really understands what you're really supposed to be doing, and we kind of like gotta like clear the air. When they hear counseling, they think, okay, you're here to help talk about all my problems, but it's big different roles of counseling.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, Ms. Boone, you used to be a SAPIS worker, so you know counseling on that aspect. And Ms. Stewie, you're a counselor when it comes down to academics. Big difference, right? So can you guys just explain that a little bit more to us?
Well, to first start off, the piggybacking what you initially said, nobody knows what they're doing a lot of times.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people think that, they see adults and it's like, oh yeah, you got it together. People are struggling 24/7, like from day to day basis. You really have no idea what to do, and you just kind of like, okay, well, I have to show up. I have to go to work. I have to do these things because you just have to. But don't believe the hype. As an adult, got it all together. We don't necessarily do. We just
Right.
learn to figure out ways.
Right.
And I think in terms of counseling, uh, it's a lot of different aspects. They think it's like, oh, it's mental health, X, Y, and Z. It's literally, for me, it's having that relationship with whoever that child or person may be, and just getting to know them on a deeper level, and seeing ways that I can be resourceful in their life. So it's like sometimes you just are a listening ear because they're going through anything, things at home, school, the streets, anything like that. You could just be that listening ear.
Right.
Sometimes I'm not saying that you'll be a friend, but you can also be, that person's like, hey, I want you to do better, and just be that person on like that's always on their shoulder, like coming to them
Motivator.
for motivational advice or whatever the case may be. So there's different aspects of it.
Yep. And in terms of being a school counselor, academically, the counseling bit that I would work with is just trying to understand. I'll say, for instance, a student is failing. Why are you failing? Having the conversations of what we can do to, make sure and ensure your success as a student. Same goes for college and career. There's a lot of one-on-one conversations trying to figure out what it is that you want to do once you graduate. And again, you might not have it all figured out, but like we just need to have some sort of next step. Some sort of next step. What's your interest? What can we do to build upon your interest and make sure that you're a successful adult post high school?
Right. So counseling it's an umbrella for a lot of different things, and which is great for anybody that wants to go into that field. I think that is many different ways to navigate when it comes to that, because it's a huge umbrella.
Definitely agree. And different qualifications as well. Like to become a psychologist, the level of education you have to have is more than to become a school counselor or to be different just elements of a counselor.
Right.
So depending on which type of counselor you want to be also impacts the education that you'll need to get there.
So like when I went to get my master's, I took a lot of the same courses that you did as a school counselor, because
Yeah.
there's 3 different branches. I got my master's in mental health counseling, there's rehab counseling, there's school counseling. So
Yeah.
there's different tracks that any person can go to.
This episode is wrapping out with our 2 special guests once again, Ms. Stewart and Ms. Boone. We would like to end this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And there we have another episode of Behind the Arch Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends.